This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good looking friends. So, no surprise, today Harry and Meghan once again are saturating the media. This time on X, Harry is trending. So, when we look at it, it appears that they are flooding all over with this award that Harry is going to be getting by ESPN, the ESPY Awards. Now, this video is not going to be talking about, from what I assume, another paid award. It's going to be talking about what is it that Harry and Meghan don't want us looking at. And apparently, there is some news that has come out that I think these two are trying to desperately suppress. Breaking news out of London from The Telegraph, Prince Harry deliberately destroyed potential evidence relating to phone hacking claim, court hears. I want to go through this article because there were a couple things that raised my antennas and brought me right back to 2021 that I want to share with everyone. Part of this video will be a lot of speculation and tinfoil hat wearing, but hang in there with me, as now I think after witnessing this couple's behavior and circle of friends, you will be a little more open to the alarm bells I had been raising since 2021. At the time when I started my channel, I had been screaming for Prince Harry to be deported for his influence with our government and undermining our Constitution. Now, I'm still screaming that, but I think many of you now see how Harry and Meghan are connected to the very same people who have been trying to censor and suppress people online. I mean, it's even happened to so many of us in this community. And all I can do is continue to keep talking about it, hoping that somebody out there is listening. And I'm comfortable in saying that people are listening, and I can tell this by seeing the conversations now being held online surrounding this censorship industrial complex and talking about Prince Harry's participation. And the reason why this is happening is because of you guys. You are the reason for why this little voice is getting shared and heard, not only here in this community, but also on other platforms far and wide. So I'm grateful for that. And I want you guys to know that you are playing a role in seeing that eventually justice is going to be served. And I fully believe that. So let's get back to this article and start to read between the lines on what is really going on here. So the Telegraph writes, the Duke of Sussex deliberately destroyed potential evidence relating to his High Court phone hacking claim against the publisher of The Sun, it has been claimed. Newsgroup Newspapers is seeking the release of emails as well as text messages and WhatsApp messages sent and received by the Duke and material held on 2 encrypted hard drives. It wants access to the many texts sent between the Duke and J.R. Moehringer, the author who ghost-wrote his memoir Spare. David Sherborne, for the Duke, said the pair communicated via Signal, and their chat history was wiped before the book was published in January last year. The court heard that Prince Harry had received 2 encrypted hard drives, compromising work documents from his staff's shared drive, to which he originally claimed he no longer had access. However, just hours before the High Court hearing on Thursday, it emerged that they had been found, one at his California home and the other at the office of his U.S. lawyer. The Duke has insisted he is not aware of any other portable data storage devices, cloud storage locations, or backup tapes in his control. According to court documents, he has conducted extensive searches, including a physical search of his home in California. He claims he no longer has any laptops, mobile telephones, desktop PCs, or backups of his data from before September 2013, and that his former Hotmail email address, used pre-2014, had been deactivated and were no longer accessible. However, the Duke's legal team has searched other email accounts to which he has access, h at sjpkp.com and ha at sjpkp.com, which span a period from January 2014 until April this year, for 3 keywords, and is now searching them for the 55 search terms sought by NGN. Mr. Sherburne described NGN's disclosure application as a fishing expedition. The royal family solicitors, Harbottle and Lewis, have insisted they hold no documents that are in the claimant's control. If we are to believe that this reporting in the Telegraph is accurate, then the information provided raises a couple red flags that indicate that there's something else that is really going on here. So when we go back to this article and it states that Prince Harry extensively went through his home in California with a physical search, but then all of a sudden on Today pops up these two encrypted hard drives that actually have been compromised of this data from his staff, leads me to believe that there is something very fishy going on, like a big cover-up, and information that Harry doesn't want to get out most likely had been wiped. Maybe not pertaining to this court case, but to something else. And then it says that these hard drives were found, one in his home in California, and then the other one at the office of his U.S. lawyer. So the next logical question is, why would a U.S. lawyer be in possession of an encrypted hard drive from Prince Harry if this court case is being held in the U.K.? That should be something in the possession of the U.K. lawyers. Am I right? Then a follow-up question to this is, how the heck did a U.S. lawyer get in possession of this hard drive? Who gave the hard drive to the lawyer? If Harry went through his whole entire house and found nothing, and then all of a sudden, magically, this morning, you have two hard drives, one being found in Casa Olive Garden, and then the other one in possession of a U.S. lawyer, who I'm assuming is Michael Kump, the one that defended Meghan during the defamation lawsuit that Samantha brought on, it's quite normal and natural to be suspicious as well as skeptical of believing Harry's so-called truth. The story does not wash with me, in my opinion. I'm really curious to know as to how the other hard drive found its way over to the U.S. lawyer's office. Did it walk there by itself, or did it take an Uber? And no disrespect to the UK court system, but in observing Harry's involvement with these cases against the newspaper, what we're seeing is a lot of funny business, meaning Harry is telling his truth, but doesn't appear to be the truth. And a lot of it is without substantial evidence. So here in this situation, Harry clearly had stated that he didn't have any access to other personal storage devices. And all of a sudden now, two magically appear and they have been compromised. Harry could have very well have gone on with this case today without producing any type of evidence, seeing how lenient the court system is in the UK. So for two magical encrypted devices that have been compromised to show up the day of this court hearing leads me to believe these two hard drives, it doesn't pertain to this court case, but something else that's going on in the United States. And bringing it forward to the UK court system was mandatory as a result of whatever is happening here in the United States, because eventually it'll be found out. And I'm guessing Harry didn't want to be in contempt of court. If indeed there is something else going on and it is discovered that there are hard drives that should have been produced and he chose not to produce them. Which now brings me to going back to this part of the Telegraph article today, where it says the Duke's legal team has searched other email accounts to which he has access, h@sjpkp.com and ha@sjpkp.com. If you haven't guessed it yet, I'm a very curious person and I ask a lot of questions, and I'm not familiar with the email service of sjpkp.com. Are you? I know of a hotmail.com, I know of a gmail.com, I know of an AOL.com, and if you notice, when you type in the URL, it brings you to the landing page where you would naturally enter in your login credentials. Well, when you go to sjpkp.com, this is what comes up. The web browser can access the server, but in this article, it's stated that the period that Harry had access to these email accounts were from January 2014 up until April 2024 this year. What's bizarre is if you go back into archive.com and you type in sjpkp.com, it comes up with this landing page in which it says, "This domain name is reserved for future use and is not available for purchase." This color red looks quite royal, doesn't it? As I'm thinking about it, you know how Harry loves his privacy. Could this have been a private server? It's sure starting to look this way. But I'm just speculating. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusion. But this is what I see. Now, if you go to the icann.org registry and you look this domain up, the sjpkp.com, it will come up with some information that does shed a little bit of insight here. So even though whoever registered it is redacted, it does say that the mailing address is in London, which makes sense because Harry's from the UK. So when we look at this, what are the possibilities here? The possibilities really could be Harry having his own personal email server. But the question is why, as he has other email addresses or email addresses that he used on other email platforms, as it's stated in this article. Also, why didn't Harry give himself an Archwell email? James Holt has one. All the other people that are working for them have one. Why didn't Harry take one from Archwell? I'm going to trust my gut on this one and say that Harry is trying to hide something here. Now, at this point in the video, I'm going to ask you to secure on your tinfoil hats because we're now going to be exploring some possibilities. Now, these possibilities I had started talking about back in 2021, and it wasn't the right time as people saw what I was talking about as being conspiracy theory, especially surrounding Harry knowing about January 6th and his connection to Christopher Boozy. So I kind of left it at that, but there was a lot of data that I had collected to draw a conclusion of this type of connection. Fast forward now, I think it's a good time to bring it back up because now more people fully see how the Harkles have been involved, not only with the censorship industrial complex, but also engaged with Christopher Boozy and his bots, as well as the Sussex Squad, for us now to have a better discussion surrounding the possibilities of certain people who had been involved. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Some of you may or may not know, the Duchess of Sussex and I started our channels around the same time. And what we found was that our interest around Meghan and Harry was not so much about Meghan's bad behavior and what she did to the royal family, but it was more so focused on how they were impacting America. Both of us didn't like how Harry and Meghan came to the US and asserted themselves as like the chosen ones dictating how Americans should be living, particularly on how tax dollars should be spent, particularly around pushing for this paid family leave. Meghan had no business in calling up congressmen to lobby, essentially, as a royal and overstepped her bounds. I mean, this woman stepped on many toes and the same goes for her husband, Prince Harry, who had no business being involved with the U.S. military and then go behind their backs to take away the freedoms that they so fought and sacrificed their lives for that we have today. This really pissed both myself and the Duchess of Sussex off to a point where we decided to do something about it, which was to fight back and speak out against the hypocrisy, especially around the bullying, the doxing, the intimidation, as well as the First Amendment violations surrounding getting deplatformed and censored. And that's why we are here today. And in this process, we've discovered and collected a whole bunch of data that is now coming back to haunt them. And I think it's a really good time now to bring up one of Duchess of Sussex's very early videos. It's like one of the first couple of videos that she put out on her channel. And this one was titled, "Is the Royal Family Being Framed?" Now, in this video, the Duchess of Sussex was pretty much just pointing out some bizarre interactions and conversations that were happening on social media between Christopher Boozy and some of the Sussex Squad members. Now, this was around the time when these targeted campaigns to get people deplatformed and censored was beginning. So in November 2021, Harry had mentioned the Bot Sentinel Fugazi report And we all know what a sham that was, but at the time, so many people ran with it. In addition to that, the Aspen Commission on Information Disorder report also came out. So these guys were in their glory talking about how other platforms needed to be regulated and hate accounts need to be taken off, especially talking around Parler and bringing up January 6th and the insurrection. Now, don't forget, Prince Harry was the one that announced to everyone in that Wired interview that he knew about a coup being staged and taking place before January 6th.
Have you ever had a chance to present your case to the leaders of these companies, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey?
No, not directly, not personally. Jack and I were emailing each other prior to January the 6th, where I warned him that his platform was allowing a coup to be staged. That email was sent the day before, and then it happened, and I haven't heard from him since.
Now, I always thought it was strange that the Democrats who were running the January 6th hearings never subpoenaed and brought Prince Harry in as a result of saying that he knew about this insurrection happening. But here is what Duchess of Sussex had captured and shared with everyone. I mean, at the time, nobody really understood what all of it meant, but I think now it's starting to get clearer as to what really went on.
So they keep bringing up that, let's see, most of their staff are Tories or worked for Tory government. Someone at KP was caught uploading videos, most likely anti-Meghan, on far-right website Parler. Meghan did not stand a chance in that environment. So why are they bringing this up now? Right? I mean, that's just weird. After he wants to dig back further, to January? All roads lead back to, he's talking about hate campaigns, hate accounts. All roads lead back to the royal family. So, and again, it goes back to Jeff Bezos doesn't like, and he's vindictive, does not like that Prince William criticized him, and I believe that that's what started this whole thing. I don't believe Harry and Meghan started it, but they're definitely involved now. And wait till the end, folks. Oh, wait till the end. So, according an account at Kensington Palace, now does this make any sense to anybody? Any sense? An account at Kensington Palace was connected to the January 6th data of insurrectionists. Well, how do you know? How would you have access to something, a social media platform that's been shut down and not on Amazon service anymore? January 6th data of insurrectionists to the very controversial social media Parler. I have a feeling if you can track that person down, you have a head start as who's behind the Meghan hate account. So they're going to label anything that ever happened at Kensington Palace, true or not true, and I'll get to that, as a hate account. So they're digging, they're going. Bezos is doing it. Harry and Meghan now are behind it. That's how far they're reaching. This is the table that they're setting. First, someone from KP is uploading videos. Parler, and months later, their mouthpiece was a guest speaker at the far-right Heritage Foundation. So I don't know who they're talking about. Oh, Camilla Tominey, I guess. So, okay. So then you have another Alexis talking about uploading things to Parler. I mean, do we see where everybody's going with this? Do we see? So they're basically like framing these people. So in this MI6 Rogue, the registered trademark symbol, metadata of 68,000 videos uploaded during Capitol riot prove someone in Kensington Royal area, Kensington Palace, uploaded a video to Parler during the Capitol riots. Well, so what if they did? I mean, I'm sure there were millions of people that were uploading videos that had nothing to do with it. And they have all this, data points. But again, where are they getting this information from? Because it's not active anymore. I'm sure Parler's not handing it over to metadata. So here's just a clearer, I don't know what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. So now I'm just going to take you through some tweets about these people and how dangerous these people are. Oh, and let me just go back to, so the whole Kensington Palace thing, they're doing that. They're setting the stage up. Wait until, now he's had this information, and so has Amazon, but they didn't know they were going to be using it for this, but they still have it. Wait until authentic and fake Parler data makes it into the mainstream media. Now, what does that mean?
Notice the date of Christopher Bouzy's tweet, November 24th, 2020. This was before the insurrection happened. Now, keep in mind, at this point, Harry and Meghan were aligned with Renee DiResta, Safiya Noble, Rashad Robinson, and all the folks that were working so hard to make sure that this election went the right way, if you know what I mean. In addition, the Hunter Biden laptop story, they were around when this stuff went down. So how much influence or involvement they had here, I don't know, but they definitely were aware of what was going on. So keep that in the back of your head.
Now, authentic data making it in there, which if it's not stolen, I would think it'd be okay. But all right. But if fake data gets in there, I hope somebody's going to tell the difference between what the fake data is and what it's not. Now, with this crew, I doubt it. So, could Parler be infiltrated by the Democrats? And then he's talking about an accountant. Bouzy cannot confirm or deny the existence of that he has a Parler account. Ooh, you're so sneaky. Bill Barr is going things on Parler. Amazing how fast they turn on each other. I wonder if there's a way we could speed that process up. I was thinking a little more insidious, like playing them against each other on Parler, but your idea is excellent as well. Let's do it for the Georgia election. Now, they're playing people against each other on Twitter. All the people we know, they're playing against each other. Right? You go. I can't wait. You go what? Releasing fake, maybe stolen or not stolen authentic information and fake, and are you going to tell Bouzy?
So now, to help with context, the Duchess of Narcissus is going through tweets that happened a couple days after the January 6th insurrection.
That needs to be shut down along with the Donald. Who will resist the FBI? Who are now? Wait for their. Let's go after their service providers, their data centers. Because the servers have to be put in a data center. These people just are nonstop here. They may have their own servers, but do they have their own data center? Who sells them their hardware? Let's go after them. Let's get access to that. I mean, you guys can see what's going on. Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, Quora. They're going after it all. Then Bouzy writes, Gab thinks they're untouchable because they own their own servers and are bragging about that. Who's providing their fiber? So they want to be able to get the access into the fiber optics that are let into people's servers. These people belong in Germany. In 1938, Germany is where these people belong.
Now, I don't think the Duchess of Narcissus realized it at the time, but these tweets really do solidify the capabilities that Christopher Bouzy, Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the whole Sussex squad had in order to contribute to what was going on back in January of 2021, if you know what I mean.
Russian bots, the usual. We monitor, was developed for Twitter, we monitor Facebook. So he's saying he does all of this stuff. So somebody is giving him the access, right? And then he pointed out that.
One thing I'd like to point out here is the date that Christopher Bouzy was sharing all this transparency, which was May of 2020, before the election and before the January 6th insurrection. So now let's go back to what the Duchess of Narcissus had captured regarding Kensington Palace and those coordinates.
Metadata of 68,000 videos uploaded during Capitol riot prove someone in Kensington Royal area, Kensington Palace, uploaded a video to Parler during the Capitol riots. Well, so what if they did? I'm sure there were millions of people that were uploading videos that had nothing to do with it. And they have all this, data points. But again, where are they getting this information from?
Now, I'm just speculating. I don't have any concrete evidence. I'm just posing this question. Could this SJP KP be the server? We could spend all day guessing what SJP KP stands for. I started off thinking, well, maybe it had something to do with Kensington Palace having KP, but what does the SJP stand for? And the only thing that came to my mind, and no, it's not Sarah Jessica Parker, was this name, Sanju. Now, if you were around this time when people were getting harassed, doxxed, with some of the most vile things being said, you would know the name Sanju. This is a bot that showed up everywhere. I mean, there were like hundreds, if not thousands of them running around, retweeting or spilling out some vile things about the royal family. These accounts, most likely, for the most part, are bots, have been running around not only saying the most vile and malicious things, but definitely statements to gaslight others. In addition, they would also post malicious lies about Catherine and William. I mean, the attacks kept coming from Sanju. These bots were notorious for gaslighting and inciting hatred. As you can see here, response to Dan Wooten, F you, right-wing Nazi Dan. Like, that's gaslighting. That's incitement of hate. I think Sanju most likely was Meghan's biggest and top fan. And that's because we know that it's Meghan and Harry who are behind them. Now, I'm not really sure how these bot farms are set up and how the scripts are configured and injected into the individual accounts, but I'm pretty sure you need a server to host and execute commands and communicate with the various platforms. Now, if I had to guess, the two email addresses that were listed in the article today, h@sjpkp.com and ha@sjpkp.com, belong to this server. And if it belongs to this server and they belong to Harry, then that means it's possible. Then there's a possibility that SJPKP stands for Sanju Kensington Palace, meaning anytime we see the name Sanju, then that was an identifier giving some type of clue where those clusters might be located or where the direction for those clusters might be located. Now, again, I stress this is a wild theory. Like, I have no concrete evidence. This is just me thinking outside of the box and looking at how things have gone down and what has been going on, especially what was said in this article. Now, if this information is factually correct and Harry did corrupt the data, then we all need to be asking the question, what is he trying to hide? Now, sadly, I don't have a way to verify where Sanju is tweeting out of. That would be something for law enforcement to get into. So hopefully, maybe this will open up some door. Again, this is all speculation. There's no truth behind any of this. But if there is truth to it, then Sanju is going to get Prince Harry in a lot of trouble. Now, follow me here. Prince Harry got involved with a man who knows all about bots, and this is what he does for a living. Now, you all have seen the personality of Sanju, and they have been relentlessly tweeting about Meghan and going after people who criticize Meghan. Well, isn't it funny that towards and close to the election and even after the election, Sanju apparently turned into a MAGA supporter and reposted and created this echo chamber surrounding pro-Trump tweets. There were numerous Sanju accounts that were doing this. They started out tweeting about Meghan Markle and then all of a sudden within this window of time started retweeting or posting stuff pro-Trump. Now, I have shown you how nasty and vile Sanju can be, especially with gaslighting and inciting hatred. I wonder how much hatred Sanju was spewing out during the time of the insurrection and contributed to what unfolded on that day.
No, not directly, not personally. Jack and I were emailing each other prior to January the 6th, where I warned him that his platform was allowing a coup to be staged. That email was sent the day before, and then it happened, and I haven't heard from him since.
Again, Harry, how did you know that a coup was being staged? And the choice of words, coup, being staged, what exactly did he mean by that? Now, was Harry trying to set his brother up to make it look like he had some hand in what happened on January 6th?
They're basically like framing these people. So, in this MI6 Rogue, the registered trademark symbol, metadata of 68,000 videos uploaded during Capitol riot prove someone in Kensington Royal area, Kensington Palace, uploaded a video to Parler during the Capitol riots. Well, so what if they did? I mean, I'm sure there were millions of people that were uploading videos that had nothing to do with it. And they have all this, data points. But again, where are they getting this information from? Because it's not active anymore. I'm sure Parler's not handing it over to metadata.
I don't know, folks. I think we need some answers. Anyhow, the last thing that I want to point out before I go is when we look at the archwell.com website, it does appear that the servers that this domain is being hosted on is AWS. The same goes for Sussex Royal. When we look at Catherine and William's royalfoundation.com domain, their name servers say domaincontrol.com, so that's where they're hosting it when controlling it. Now, when we look at SJP KP.com, the host provider says Cloudflare.com. Now, where have I seen Cloudflare before? Oh, that's right. Christopher Boozy's bot Sentinel uses Cloudflare. He likes Cloudflare so much that he's using it for Spoutable.com as well. Yeah, so that's it. I'd be really interested to know as to why Harry had 2 emails for this server. HA, could the A stand for administration? Did someone had access into that server to do some type of configuration and programming from a remote location in America, but VPN'd in to make it look like they were in the UK? I don't know. This is all speculation. And, after reading this article today from The Telegraph, it does feel like things are a little sus, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts. I'm interested to seeing what you have to say on this one. As always, I will be back with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
You're such a fraud.